Hey, everybody. Hello, and we are on the procrastination webinar. I'm really glad you're here. If you've been on webinars before with me, you see that one of the things that I do very often for teaching is that I use a mind map. I use a mind map because it's a good way for me of organizing my thoughts. Now, I understand that some people don't like using mind maps. Okay, they do it differently. Some people write things down on notepads. Some people type it up, and some people try and recall it. But for me, having a mind map in front of me reminds me of what I want to cover because I really want to deliver with you and I don't want to miss a thing because every point that I'm going to make is going to have an impact. So here we go. Now, I recently did a survey of my various lists and I said, what do you think is the number one thing holding you back from success? And by far and away, it was procrastination. It was the number one self fault that people acknowledge. Now, over the years, procrastination didn't just develop. As a matter of fact, as I'm going to say, that it was one of the Catholic world's seven deadly sins. They called it sloth. Okay, sloth. I remember that when I was showing someone the internet and they said, what do you mean everything's on the internet? I said, think of a topic and I'll find it. And just out of the blue, they said, yeah, I want to see a picture of a three-toed sloth. So I went to Google and we looked up images and there was a picture of a three-toed sloth. And basically, if you've never, and I've seen this, sloths, they're not action animals. They basically like hang in a tree and that's it. Okay. So sloth was considered one of the seven deadly sins. And in the old world, in the old world, being a sloth or being a procrastinator was bad. The old advice that people had of telling people, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, you know what? It didn't work. A lot of people I know oversleep, and knowing what Ben Franklin said hasn't made a huge impact in their life. So, what people did as far back in the United States as Puritan days was they would label people as lazy. They would, being lazy was a punishable offense. If you didn't go to work, you didn't get up on time for church, you would be lazy and they would put you out in the stocks in public and have people make fun of you. And insults have come down with us through the day. People will look at someone who procrastinates and they won't say, you are procrastinating now, which is the act. They will label them. They will say to them, you're a good for nothing. Let me ask you as we get started, uh, have you ever been have you ever seen has anybody ever insulted you and called you lazy or good for nothing or insulting you for not getting something done? Okay, has um, uh, anybody had that? And I see somebody's typed in, do we need to hear this music for the entire time? If you hear music, it's the angels coming for you because there's no music playing over here. Okay. Okay. So lots of people are saying that this happened. And someone typed in the that only as a boy. And I want you to remember that only as a boy, but nobody does it to you today. And the answer is, um, and the answer is, yeah, I've been insulted. I've told that I'm lazy and I'll never amount to anything. That's fantastic. Um, it's fantastic because it's so widespread. The majority of you typed in something that, yes, you had been insulted for this. Now, for years, there are people who have been teaching personal change. They're teaching people how to change their habits, new habits, whatever. But the bottom line is that people are the same. They still procrastinate. And here we're going to come to a key core concept for me. Many years ago, when I left education, I opened up a hypnosis center. And this is really important. People say, Harlan, you're wasting time. I'm not wasting time. I want you to get this. So I opened up a hypnosis weight loss center. And I would talk with people all day about losing weight. And I discovered something really just, it boggled my mind. It absolutely boggled my mind is that when I would talk to people about losing weight, what they would say to me was that they already knew the information and I would ask them questions. And I want you to know something. Dieters are universally weight loss experts. You take someone who wants to lose weight and you start to talk to them and you say to them, what do you have to do to lose weight? And they're going to say, eat less, exercise more. You say, great. You know what to do. Eat less, exercise more. And then they'll talk about eat less. They could do the paleo diet. They could do the low carb diet. They could do the high carb diet. They could do the middle carb diet. They know them all. They could do the Scarsdale diet. They could do the Hollywood diet. They could do the Mediterranean diet. They could do the Hawaii diet. They can do every single diet. They know what they are. They know the differences. No gluten, high gluten, yes gluten. The issue is not that they don't know what to do. The issue is they don't do it. Mark Twain said it best. Everyone talks about the weather, but no one does anything about it. So let me ask you, do you guys already know what to do? Do you guys already know what to do? Basically. Type in your answer. Yes, I oh yeah, people saying basically. I got one no, but yes, basically. Not sure. Most are well, we got almost. We got basically yes, sometimes I think so. Okay. So pretty much okay. It's the awful truth. People are saying yes, but the way that they're saying it is really an education. The way that they're saying it, people are saying it in negatives about themselves. And that is going to be one of the core concepts we're going to be talking about. So here's my thought is that when people procrastinate, they know what needs to be done, right? But they're not doing it. And as opposed to weight loss, the fact that you know what to do makes things worse. Okay? The more you know, the worse it is. The bigger the expert you are at getting rid of procrastination, the more you procrastinate. I'm going to show you why. Stick with me. We got good stuff coming. Okay? So, this next session is probably not going to make you feel good. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here so that you learn something. Okay. So, number one, uh, why do people procrastinate? They know that they shouldn't. They've been insulted and blamed for it their whole life. Let's go through the reasons and you know, it may apply to you. It may not apply to you. I'm not here to insult you. I'm here to work with you to problem solve. But just going through this list with me, parts of it are going to click. Parts of it are going to you're going to say, yeah, that's me, or no, that's me. Feel free to type that in uh, when we go through them. Yeah, that's me, or not, or no, that's not me. I want this to be participating. The more you participate with me on this, the better you're going to do. Now, I hear some people going, oh, Harlan, I'm not going to type something in. It would be too embarrassing. Okay, let's get over the embarrassment. We're old friends by now. Okay, let's talk. Why do people procrastinate? So, first and the most obvious is that there's too much to do and there's too little time. So, instead of being there too much to do and too little time and trying to hurry up and get stuff done, what they do is they shut down and they procrastinate. And we're going to understand this process in the next couple of moments, why they do that. Okay, next. Go ahead and remember and type in if that applies to you, because that would be very helpful to me. Okay. All right. Next, there are too many have tos and shoulds. Okay. People have expectations of us. They have high expectations of us. They may have unreasonable expectations for us. This is one of the things. So we are born rebels. And if someone says, you have to do this or you should do this, we have built into many of us what's called a polarity response. And the minute the person turns their back, we like make a face behind their back. We give them the finger. Yeah, right. I have to do that. And what do we do instead? We procrastinate. Okay. Why do people procrastinate? Because they feel that they don't have choices. Your boss comes into you and says, do this, and you've got to do it exactly this way, like in the Marx Brothers, walk this way, and Groucho walks that way. Well, we don't want to do that. People like to have choices. Okay. Now, maybe sometimes there's a restaurant in Miami Beach that is a hot dog restaurant. And the only thing on the restaurant is hot dogs. Now, you can have your hot dogs cooked in beer. You can have it cooked in water. You can have your hot dogs grilled. They can put cheese on your hot dog, sauerkraut on your hot dogs, onions on your hot dog, chili on your hot dog, you name it. They serve about 40 different kinds of hot dogs. But basically, you go there and you get a hot dog. Now, I don't know about you, but I like having more choice at a restaurant than just a hot dog. So that's not a restaurant that I go to a lot. Okay. People want choices. When someone says it's my way or the highway, we invariably choose the highway of procrastination. We pull over into the slow lane and we do it our way. Okay, next reason. Remember, type in your answers. Okay, type in your answers. And people are saying, yeah, I rebel. I've got to have choices. Okay, next. People feel like they are always on. How many people here, just a quick question, consider that they work too much? Okay. How many people here think that they work too much? People typing in always on, me, always on. Oh, yes, that's me. Okay. So I'm getting just left one of the three jobs. So the majority, not everybody, but the majority of the people are typing in, yes, I do. I feel like I'm supposed to be working harder. Okay. All right. So the bottom line is a lot of people feel like they're always on and they just don't get a break. They're workaholics. They're always working and they're always working, but they're not getting stuff done. They're just not getting stuff done. There's something that they need to do. There's always something more. You never get to your goal. And that indeed is a problem. So we come on to two things that are together. They're interrelated. Number one is unrealistic expectations and not sure of goals. Let's deal with them one at a time. Unrealistic expectations can either be someone has expectations of you that are not realistic, or or you have of yourself, or it could be both. So so what I'd like you to do is, if you are the person that unrealistic expectations apply to you, I'd like you to type in it's either self, other, or both. Self, other, or both. Oh my God, this is like, woo! Wow. Whoa, this is crazy. But again, we got both. We got self. Um, really, we got a fantastic. Okay, and this is that we have unrealistic expectations. We're going to show you that those expectations that are unrealistic are causing the procrastination. It's a mind flip when you see exactly what's going on. Now, I'm looking at the people. It shows me who's typed in answers and who hasn't, and I see, and I'm going to start naming names. I want you guys participating so that you get stuff out of here. I want you working. It's telling me, by the way, who's on other web pages looking elsewhere. Okay. I want you here. So it's showing me who's paying attention, who's not paying attention. Please shut down and um, get back over here. Um, I don't want to start calling people out, but I really want to make it okay. Now there's somebody I see who really should be paying attention, and I can see he's someplace else. Oh my gosh, get back over here. I want to help you. Okay. So, um, uh, you know, I'm going to be taking a trip soon, and I want to go to a new restaurant, one that serves more than hot dogs. It's pretty good. It's a vegan restaurant, and I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I want to get there. And I can promise you one thing, that unless I find the destination, for darn sure, I'm never going to get there. Okay. I could just like drive around all day, all night, and I will never get there. So a lot of people aren't sure of their goals. And I'm not saying write down their goals. They don't know their long term goals. They don't know their intermittent goals. And if you are not sure of your goals, I absolutely promise you, you're never going to get there. You've got to set goals for yourself, and people don't know what to do. Now, the next one can apply to a lot of different things. Um, so, this is someone said, I caught them, that they weren't listening, that they were editing an article. All right, get over here. Get over here. Um, a lot of people aren't sure how to do things, and they're afraid to ask, or they don't have anyone to ask. So they just tell themselves that they don't know what to do and they don't take action. Now, some people, not everybody has to be a speed demon. That's okay with me. But when people just don't know how to do something, and they don't know how to do something and they don't take action, they don't ask someone, they don't reach out, they don't connect, they don't ask for help, that's a problem. How many people does that apply to? Totally me. Totally me. I'm a perfectionist. Overwhelmed. Someone says, I can't ask for help. Okay. So we're seeing how common these things are. Okay. Now, um, I'll try to. How about easily distracted? We live in an age where at any given moment, every single one of you on the call could be distracted by an email, or someone sends you a Facebook messages, or your phone chirps because someone tweeted you, or you get a text message, okay? Or you're playing with something here. How many people get interrupted by distractions? Okay. Sorry, I was tweeting. Yeah, okay. Everybody, look, hey, look, a squirrel. Okay. And the answer is, yeah, there are lots of people coming in. Okay, distractions. Oi. Okay. So we live in a time where we are easily distracted, and sometimes it's other people distracting us, and sometimes we're distracting ourselves. We're going to understand why just at the bottom of this column. We've got one more to do. There are time bandits competing for your time. biggest time bandits, and I've watched, by the way, some of the gurus do this. And I don't know if you remember back as far as like some of the biggest internet gurus decided that Twitter and Facebook were time bandits. Type in if you remember some of these things, and they deleted their accounts. Okay, how many people do you remember people deleting their accounts? All right, people saying, "Yeah, I remember that." I don't want to mention people's names, uh, but oh yeah, well yes, that person deleted all of his followers and whatever. And he decided that there was no intelligent life on Twitter and deleted it. And now they're back on Twitter and Facebook, and all of a sudden, they are Facebook and Twitter. They compete for your time. They are time bandits. Um, Unless you're really using them for business, they are stealing your time, and we're going to have to learn what to do about them. Okay, here's some biggies. I've seen this quite a bit. One of them is fear of success. I have dealt many times with people who would not say it up front, but ultimately they were they had a fear of succeeding. Um, they had a fear of really, and people are going, I'm all ears now. There was a person who came to me years ago. He was on a government pension, and I've told this story several times. He was on a government pension, and if he earned above a certain amount of money, he was not going to be able to keep his pension. And he joined a program with me, and in the program, he um, in the program with me, he kept telling me that can't he can't earn too much money. If he earns too much money, he's going to lose his pension. And the bottom line was that he said, he said, you know what, Harlan, I can't do this program because I could become successful. I could lose my pension. I said, would you mind telling me what your pension was? It wasn't all that much. And I said, you mean you're foregoing, tens of thousands of months for the security of a pension? And he said, yeah, I guess I am. Then there are people who are the opposite, and they are afraid of failure. They are absolutely afraid of failure. And to prevent themselves from failing, maybe because they were insulted in the past for failing, they hear their mother or their father or a teacher yelling at them and saying, you'll never amount to anything. They just don't venture because they don't want to deal with that failure anymore. Okay. Happens all the time. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to get rid of this stuff. Next, feelings of guilt. Um, the there's an old story about a minister who comes on to Groucho Marx's program. It was called You Bet Your Life. And he comes on, he's all filled with energy, and he grabs Groucho and he shakes his hand. He says, Groucho, I'd like to thank you for all the joy that you've brought into the world. And Groucho grabs his hand, shakes it back, and he says, Pastor, I'd like to thank you for all the joy you've taken out of the world. So many of us were brought up with feelings of guilt. Okay. Today, one of the biggest insults that people could say to someone is, you know what? You're just like my mother. Why? Because moms at a period in time used guilt. Okay. Uh, Someone says, I'm Catholic. I feel guilty all the time. Okay. Guilt is a big one for me. My dad did this. This was hammered in for me. Okay. So, been there, still remember, okay, being told that I would never amount to anything. All these things are here. And then finally, fear of criticism. Some of us have had insults so long, okay, that we hold ourselves down so far below what our potential is because we're afraid of venturing out. We're afraid of doing things. Uh, at one point when you were a child and you learned how to draw, you did scribble scrabble on a sheet of paper. Okay. Yeah. You sat down and you scribble scrabbled on a piece of paper and you filled up the whole paper, and maybe you drew on the floor or you drew on the table or you drew on your sister. Whatever you did, you drew and had a good time because, you were just doing it from the heart. And then, and people would look, oh, you made a drawing. That's terrific. I love it. The next thing was um, that they gave you coloring books and they taught you to go inside of the lines, follow the lines, follow the yellow brick road. And if you went over the lines, they pointed it out to you. Look, you went over the line. Well, I'm here to tell you that is um, the real success is um, that the real success is that people who stay within the lines never really live. People who stay, I'm going to repeat that, people who stay within the lines, who color within the lines, I want you to know something. They never really come alive. And so the people who are successful go beyond lines. This weekend, someone sent me a friend request on Facebook. And I knew the name. I didn't remember the name. I didn't remember the name. I did not remember the name. And then when I clicked over to their, we only had 2 or 3 friends in common, but the 2 friends in common all went to a school where I had been the principal of. And then it got to me, this guy was one of my former students. Not only was he one of my former students, he was one of the weaker students that I had. I remember that. And so I said, yes, I'll be your friend on Facebook. And I clicked over to his page and there he is playing with his kid and he's in his house and there's the pool in the backyard. And I keep going through his pictures. There he is flying his helicopter. There he is in a board meeting, chairing the meeting. There he is, he has his own charity that he raises money for and, gets publicity for. And I'm going, oh, here's somebody who wasn't afraid of criticism, grew up with a lot of criticism, but went outside the lines and became a success. So I want you to know that no matter where you are and what you've done, success is totally possible for you. Even if you were the biggest failure alive, that you were totally the biggest failure alive, that um, that success is possible for you. Success is possible for you. So I'm seeing people are saying, yeah, this is me, this is me, this is me. And now we come to fear of taking responsibility. And I had somebody like yelling in all capital letters going, holy crap, that's me. I want you to know something, that I believe that take fear of taking responsibility is just the same as all of the other items. There are none of these that are better. There are none of these that are worse. But what I'm hearing with the holy crap, that's me, is the internal criticism that you are generating now, probably because someone said that to you in the past. Well, you're not being responsible, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Next one, low self esteem. People have low self esteem. They don't believe that they can do things. Because they don't believe that they can do things, they procrastinate. Sometimes that procrastination, the only way they have to fight back is to become passive aggressive. Okay, so low self esteem and passive aggressive very often go together. And um, then there's fear of being judged. Nobody likes being judged. No one. So if we think that people are judging us, we will step out of the limelight. I want to avoid being judged. And folks, I hear you. I hear you. Now I'm going to tell you something that's really totally crazy. Stick with me because this is now, this is, um, people are saying, Harlan, you're stirring up this stuff. Yeah, that's my point. By going, don't yell anymore. Okay. I'm excited and I'm passionate, and that's why I'm getting excited because I'm sharing that with you. There are a lot of people who have had ahas already on this call, but we're going to go deeper. But now what I'm going to tell you is probably going to shock you. Okay. We have this whole list here of why people procrastinate. So what I'm going to show you now is going to just blow your mind. And that is that your reward for doing all of these things is procrastination. Procrastination is what you get out of it. Let me explain that. Let me unpack that to you. I made a little chart here for you. Okay. Demands. All the things that you should be doing, that you have to be doing, that expectations are set for you. These things induce an internal state which we're going to cause fear. Fear forces you to procrastinate. When you procrastinate, it creates an internal dialogue. The internal dialogue, you tell yourself how bad you are. When you tell yourself how bad you are, you generate an emotion about yourself that's usually a negative emotion. It makes your confidence go down into the toilet. And because your confidence goes down into the toilet, to protect yourself, you procrastinate. So procrastination is your personal reward and your escape. And what we've done is we have created this cycle of procrastination causing procrastination. And you know that unless we break the cycle, okay, unless we break the cycle, it's going to go on forever. Okay. Um, and this is, people are doing, um, I have a master's degree in procrastination. Okay. So procrastination is your way out of feeling crappy about yourself. That's why people procrastinate. Procrastination is your escape from feeling bad. One more time, and we're going to see this again. Demands lead to fears. Fear leads to procrastination. It causes an internal dialogue that creates a negative emotion. You lose confidence in yourself. You lose confidence in your abilities. And so we procrastinate. Who's with me? Okay. Who is with me? That's brilliant. Okay. Me. Okay. Here we go. Let's go a little. People going, I never considered that. Okay. We need to, okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to go a little deeper. Now, we're going to talk about, our self-talk and our inner critic. Typically, and I know that there are some experts on the call in this. Okay, typically we are our own worst critics. If you are your own worst critics, type in me, me, me. That's me. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is what's going on. Lots of people are saying, yeah, that's me. Okay. So our attempts, okay, remember what we said, that dieters know how to lose weight, procrastinators know how to stop procrastination, but our attempts to motivate ourselves are all entirely negative. Okay? The things we tell ourselves are negative. Most of our day, when we listen to our self talk, is we are brainwashing ourselves with negative. Now, I mean, let me just give you an example. You take a little kid, you put him in uh, adoption home A, and in the home A, everybody says bad stuff about the kid. Oh, you're stupid. You're an idiot. You screwed that up. You got that wrong. How's that kid going to grow up? Okay. He's not going to be a success. And then you take that kid and you put him in home B. And in home B, you say, oh, you are so wonderful. You are just the brightest person. Wow, you figured that out. You're so creative. I really like the designs that you did there. Oh, wow, you're learning. Okay, you learned some things. You just discovered some new things to learn. Oh, heck no. I mean, I grew up in a home where if I got a 99 on a test, who knows what my parents said? What happened? Okay, what happened if you got a 99 on the test? Who knows what the line was? Why not 100? Okay, in my home, it was what happened to the other point. Okay, what happened to the other point? You can do better. All right, that may have happened. So we grow up, and as our own self critics, what we do all day is, I hope you don't mind my language, is we talk crap to ourselves and we make our situation worse ourselves. Plus, our inner critic also rebels against authority, any authority, including our own. So when we try to get ourselves to do it, our inner critic, our born to run person is, you can't make me. And we live our lives governed by the three UDs: shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. These are the things that we have in our mind. I should have done this. I could have done this. I would have done this. And these are absolute success killers. Sometimes we have a list that's really, really long. And oh, someone said, I got it. You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. Okay. So here's the deal. You're not the boss of me is that's our rebelling. That's our rebelling streak. Okay. How many people have a list right now? Someone says, you've been spying on me, Harlan. Happens in most marriage. Oh my God, my rebel is very strong. Okay. How many people have a list right now of have tos? I have a lot of things that I have to do. Just type in have to or yes. Okay. On many envelopes all around, have tos, have tos. Am I with the NSA? No, I'm not with the NSA. I have a whole book of them. I have a mental list in OmniFocus. Yeah. Okay. I have 3 notebooks, 2 lists in my mind. Please help me stop. Yes. Okay. So here's where we go. That all of this language that is being used causes depression. causes sadness, causes us to come right back to our cycle, right? This language, we induce it in ourselves. Our demands cause fear, they cause procrastination to that internal dialogue, which of course is universally negative, which causes the emotion, the loss of confidence, and procrastination. So, what started here from externals is now here driven by internals. We have become our own worst enemies. We are the ones who are making things fabulously bad for ourselves. Okay? This is all right. The uh, someone goes, "Are you going to be done soon?" Okay, so here we go. If you learn how to change your language, if you learn how to change your self talk, you'll change your life. But it's not happening for most people. Okay. Most people aren't able to change their language. They aren't able to change their internal dialogue. And so the cycle goes on. We'll say more about this later. Okay. Um, Now, this is going to be a really radical idea. Really total radical. We're working now on new stuff. This is total new stuff. And it's a concept that I'm going to call, and I'm going to share with you. It's called work less, play more. Work less, may play more. Okay. So, um, people say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to stop procrastinating tomorrow. And just by the fact that so many people missed out on this webinar because they were procrastinating, okay, we make ourselves crazy. We have goal destructive behaviors that we do from time to time. If you want to diet, you know, you procrastinate dieting by eating too much. If you have things that you have to do, one of the things that you could do is you could watch too much TV and make sure that you don't get stuff done. Um, if you want to become a business success, you can waste time and money by jumping from idea to idea. There's even a website that someone pointed out to me. It's called, if you really want to waste time, I believe the website is called I Waste So Much Time. Okay. And if you want to waste time, you go to I Want to Waste Time, and they guarantee you're going to waste time. But with all of our workaholic stuff, there's no time for us to play. There's no time that is, there's no time for us to wind down. Why? Because we're pressuring ourselves. And we say, oh, yeah, I'll vacation someday. I'll do this someday. I'm not going to do this. Okay. And some people saying, yeah, this is Facebook, whatever. We believe, you know, it's like they taught us when we grew up, you know what? One day it's all going to be easy peasy. One day, you know what? You're not going to have to worry. It's not going to be a struggle. And then what happens is we keep waiting for that one day, and it never comes. It just never comes. And so we become negative people. We become negative towards our jobs. We become negative towards our schedules. We become negative towards our tasks. We become negative towards our goals. And we don't do this stuff because we hate what we do. Okay. Um, People are saying, yeah, when I'm on vacation, when I'm on vacation, That's all I'm thinking about is, like, what do I have to do? Jump from one thing to another. Okay. So here's the oddest paradox. Stay with me here because we've seen some paradoxes before. The more you slow down, the more you accomplish. Okay. You would think, speed up. I'm going to get stuff done. I'm going to be like the Energizer Bunny. I'm going to be running. I'm never going to run out of energy. Those are the people who get the least done. The people who slow themselves down actually accomplish more. They took two groups of people and they gave them tasks. And one group, they, told them, you got to get this stuff done. You got to get this stuff done. Deadlines, deadlines, deadlines. And the other group, they forced them to go out and go to the beach and take time off. They forced them to have fun. They actually made them take naps. Okay. And the group that had the forced recreation, the group that had the forced fun, the group that had the rest actually was more productive. They had significantly higher productivity. Now you're saying, that's crazy. And the reason that all this is crazy is because we have a thread that's driving the bus. The driving the bus is our subconscious mind, and the um, the uh, the subconscious mind is, we're thinking, you know what, we're never going to get there. We're never going to get there. We're never going to get there. So give up now. Okay, give up now. So here we go again. Demands lead to fear. Fear leads to procrastination, leads to this internal dialogue, leads to the emotion, the loss of confidence, and procrastination is our reward. Now, today, one of the hottest words is gamification. If you look at my screen, you see that there's a little red line underneath it, and my program is telling me, Harlan, you spelt the word wrong. The word wasn't invented when they made this program, gamification. We learn by playing. Okay. When they bring babies together who are 6 months and they put them down and they say play, there's really self-play going on. They don't even know that there's another baby there. But we are trained to play from a very early age. And you learn so much by playing. For example, armies used war games for years. They don't say war exercises, they call them games. And they learned so much from these war games that they played. People learn really well if you make something into a game, but it makes us crazy because our internal dialogue says, hey, I'm playing a game. I can't possibly be learning something. This is what Anthony Robbins talks about. Anthony Robbins says that people are driven by two things. One is pain, and the other one is pleasure. Sometimes we call them towards or away. Okay. Some people will be impressed by beating procrastination, right? That's avoiding pain. And other people, the words avoiding procrastination or beating procrastination won't do anything for them, but they'll say, create a new life that appeals to them. So what did Tony Robbins say? Tony Robbins says that you need to access the maximum pain that you can to motivate yourself. Or at times you need to maximize your pleasure. And between understanding yourself and pain and pleasure, in the middle lies your success. Now, yesterday, a woman on Facebook said to me that she had a project that she was procrastinating on for a long time. And I said to her, okay, well, what if I gave you $100,000 to do it this week? And she said, I got her attention. I got her attention. Why? Because her pleasure principle, the idea of $100,000, was so appealing to her that um, that she wanted to keep that in mind. Pain or pleasure. Now, pain or pleasure, it depends on whether it's internal or external. Let me explain what's going on here and try and be clear. If someone else comes up to you and says, do this or you're fired, okay? If you want to keep the job, if you want to keep the job, then the external pain will get you to do it. The other thing is, if someone says, finish this job and I'll double your salary, the external pleasure can do it for some people. It's not the same. Some people are pain, some people are pleasure, okay? But internally, what happens is people wimp out. They don't really apply internal pain or internal pleasure. And if they learned how to do this, if they learned the principles of work less, play more, they would find out just how easy things are. People know that people like rewards, okay? And people reward themselves crazy. Like, dieters. How do dieters reward themselves? With food, okay? They're trying to change their lives. They're trying to change their whole attitude towards food. And then they say, okay, if I diet for a week, just gonna pig out and I'm just gonna like fill up a whole ice cream tub of Ben and Jerry's, and then I'm gonna climb in and eat my way out. Okay. Um, so people need to learn how to set up rewards. There are intermittent rewards versus one big reward. Most people know these concepts, they just don't do them. Work less, play more sounds like a dream, but it's not. But it's not. Okay. How many people are still with me? For how many people am I making sense? Okay. I'm making sense to lots of people here. All right. Fantastic. Let's go on. Okay. So I've created a problem, and but what I'd like to do is I'd like to share a solution. And the solution that I have is I want to work with maybe 10 people. There are hundreds of people on the call. I want to work with 10. And you'll understand why I want to work with 10 and not hundreds. Like you're saying, 10 people. Why do you want to work with 10 people? I'm going to show you why. I want to create 10 success stories. 10 success stories. Let me show you what I have in mind. I want to work with people for 21 days. It takes 21 days to create a new habit. And I want to work with people for 21 days. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to split this into 3 weeks. In week 1, we're going to do what's called a do-over. We're going to look at your daily life. This is individually. This is all one-on-one work. Now you can begin to understand why this isn't a huge thing. I want to work with you one-on-one about your specific issues. I want a new look at your day. That means finding out what you're doing. I want to find out what your habits are. We want to break all of your old habits. We want to crush them and we want to replace them with success habits. This is going to be done in a special one-on-one session with me. And I'm going to create a hypnotic session for you called Creating Success Habits. That's week 1. You are going to have homework every single day of that week, and then you're going to come up to week 2. We're going to be talking about living your fullest potential. In living your fullest potential, we're going to think about what's possible. We're going to put you in the pilot seat so that you are not the person in your life who is being acted upon. You are the person who is the most successful. We're actually going to create, between me and the hypnosis, we're going to create your a one-on-one. We're going to create what I call your biggest secret supporter. Remember, on the right side of the screen, we have your self-talk inner critic. What if you were your own cheering section? What if you were the most successful person out there possible, driving yourself to success? Now, by the way, I've got a surprise coming at the end of this. I want you to stick around and hear it. Okay. Um, and then in week 3, it's called um, Beyond Your Dreams, where you learn to see the bigger picture, a bigger picture than you ever thought possible. It's where you create monuments of success. When you think of Apple, you think of Steve Jobs. What kind of monuments of success do you want to leave behind to your family, to yourself? My motto, if you get an email from me on one of my email addresses, I sign it with, "The sky is not the limit." Too often, people limit themselves. And you hear I got a little passionate here. My voice is going. I'm going to work with you on a third one-on-one session, and we're going to have a special hypnotic session called The New You. I call this program 21 Days to a New You. Why 21 days? Because it takes 21 days to create a new habit. And in those 21 days, we're going to change you. When you join, and remember, I'm only looking for 10 people. And by the way, I don't know how you did it because I didn't show the URL, but somebody already bought. Okay. I don't know how you did that. I take my hat off to you, but there are now 9 places over, and I haven't even shown the URL. How you figured that out, I don't know. Um, in 21 days, we're going to take you apart. We're going to replace all those negative habits with a new you. It takes 21 days to create a new habit. We're going to do it. You and me, one on one. This is not a group. This is not going to be like an AA meeting. Hi, my name is Harlan. Hi, Harlan. Welcome, Harlan. Hi, Harlan. No, this is you and me one on one working on your specific thing. And I only want 10 people. Now it's 9 people who are going to work with me. Now, here's the surprise. Earlier today, I was on the phone with PayPal. And PayPal said that I'm a really good merchant for them. And I like PayPal. They've always been really good to us. And they said, we want you to start encouraging people to use pay later. Pay later. And pay later is a program where you have up to 6 months to pay for the program, the same as cash. You have up to 6 months. PayPal gives you like a 5-second credit check. And if you have decent credit, they will give you up to 6 months to pay for this without charging you a dime more. That's a darn good deal. Okay. So if you want to find out about the program, you're going to go, and we'll take questions in a few minutes. You're going to go to kilstein.com 21 days. Now, let me show you what the page looks like. Um, we start. The only thing wrong with the only thing wrong, man, the only thing wrong it should be procrastination. Um, Come on, this is so embarrassing. I like that. Okay. The only thing wrong with having a procrastination problem is thinking that there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay. So you are 21 days of success, 9 people only. Week number one, it's called Do Over Your Daily Life. It's a one on one session with me. There's a special hypnosis session. This is at Kilstein.com, 21 days. Glenn, if you would type that in. Okay, we had a second person. There are now 8
Yeah, I got
left
it in there.
over. There are now 8 sessions left over. Um, Week number two, living your fullest potential. One on one sessions with me, a special session, your biggest secret supporter. Okay. Um, Week number three, beyond your dreams, a one on one session with me. Now, I want you to know something. The When people would work with me in hypnosis, I never worked with people for less than my prices ranged from 250 to $2,000 a session. And um, so the bottom line here is that um, this is an incredible bargain. Remember, if you qualify, you can not pay a penny for up to 6 months. The course, the 21 days with me, is $497. Now, unfortunately, PayPal only lets you do pay later if you are a U.S. resident. If you are not a U.S. resident, um, then you can either do paid in full for $497, or you could do split payments a month apart for $300. If you Now, here's what you do: as soon as you join, you call Sandra at 561-395-7400, or you email her at support@otc-publishing.com, and she will schedule you. Some people are going to start tomorrow. Okay. Some people are going to start tomorrow. We want to get you started as soon as possible. So some people are just going to start tomorrow. Other people, as the places go, and the calls are coming in here, as the places go, we're going to there are 7 places left. Okay, there are 7 places left. And the reason that I'm doing this is, um, if I'm working with 10 people, okay, that's a lot of time every week to be focused with you on your success. And that's what we're doing it. So there are 2 ways to pay. If you're outside of you can do either the pay later, okay, if you're a US resident and you qualify, um, or you can do the paid in full or 2 pay option. Now let's come back, and Glenna, would you like to give me some questions?
Okay, it looks like so far only Denny's asking about the phone number and the email address again.
Okay, so the phone number, and the phone's going crazy here. By the way, if you want to pay by credit card, you can call Sandra as well. If you would type in the number, it's 561-395-7400, and Sandra will help you out over the phone. The phones really are going crazy now. So, as they say, operators are busy now. Please stand by. Okay, what kind of other questions about procrastination, about the program, etc.? Um,
Yeah, so far I'm not seeing any other questions coming in.
okay, did you guys learn something here? Could I repeat the phone number? Okay, we got that. Um, how can I become one of those people? You can become one of those people by going to Kilstein.com/21 days. Maybe type that in again. Okay. Is this different than the bat phone? Yes, this is entirely different than the bat phone. Okay. The bat phone is to help you with the protege program. This is um, just procrastination, and the phones here are absolutely going crazy. Um, can Harlan talk more about what an intermittent reward is? An intermittent reward is um, it comes from the world of Skinner psychology, where they discovered that, oh boy, um, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8. There are just 2 places go open, folks. There are just 2 places open. Okay. Now we could do this via Skype, the sessions with you. We could do this via phone. Um, you know, in 21 days, I want there to be a new you, and that's it. This is the kind of stuff that I love. If I could work with people who had procrastination problems all day long and solve their problems, you know, my life would be a dream life, helping people break through their limitations. So back to intermittent rewards. Is intermittent rewards mean giving yourself goals on at different times, at different intervals? What that does is um, it changes your expectations and it helps break your patterns. Okay, so setting up intermittent rewards for yourself is kind of hard. That's why one of the things that has been missing from a lot of programs, a lot of books, is accountability. Okay. You are accountable. Listen up, folks. You are accountable only to yourself. Okay. In order for you to be more accountable, in order for you to become more successful, you need to be accountable to someone else. You need to be accountable to someone else. And that is what it's all about. Okay. You want to be, if you want to join, you want to go to kilstein.com/21 days. Now, let me ask you a question. If you could take that money and stretch it out 6 months long, okay? I mean, think about it, and be a different person 21 days from now, would that be worth it to you? Okay. If not, then you're in the wrong place. You just want to keep your problem. But if you want to break through the problem, I deliberately did not want to make this a 6 month program. I did not want to make this a group coaching program. I wanted to make this a one-on-one success program. So I um, I want um, to work with people one on one. That's what it's all about. Okay. And folks, I have the information of who's here. I will be getting out the special gift um, to everybody who is here and is on the call. Are there any other questions? There are still 2 people here. Um, can
Yeah,
we
a
do
couple people.
sessions by Google Hangout? Yes. Um, will the recording be a big help? Yes. Um, okay. Um, Okay, what kind of questions do you have?
I've had a couple people asking if this is going to be available again later down the line.
Uh, so they want to know if they can procrastinate taking care of their procrastination. Okay, I didn't hear that. Can I procrastinate taking care of my procrastination? Okay,
Well,
like,
yeah, a couple people were saying they just didn't have the money right now, so they were wondering if, since you only had 10 slots, if you were going to open it up again later.
you know, I can't answer that with a yes, um, because I want to work with 10 people, and um, I want to see, how it fits into my schedule. Having 10 people to work with. Do I have the time? Okay. Notice, folks, I didn't say 50 people. I didn't say 40 people. I said 10 people. I want 10 people to be raving success stories. If you want to be one of those 10 people, we have one place left. Okay. We have one place left. Um, you want to join it now. Any last questions?
We just had one other person asking for a recap of the pain and pleasure.
Okay. That's fantastic, and it's a fair question. The pain versus pleasure principle is um, that um, the pain versus pleasure principle is that people are motivated, according to Tony Robbins, by either pain, okay, punishment, okay, or pleasure, or getting good stuff. And these are really important concepts to him. But people are not universally, it's not a standard, it's not a standard thing. It's not, in other words, like, for example, um, uh, some people are going to want to do things they don't really want it, but they work best if they, if they're getting crap from someone. Other people only want the pleasure. And so is what you do is you have to find out what works for you. The problem is I'll tell you something that um, that people do is that uh, there's an app for the iPhone. It may be for an Android phone as well, and it's called Gym Packed. This is where people who don't go to the gym and work out, and um, there are two principles, and you can choose which way you want it to work. It's the same concept. Um, if you go to the gym and work out, then other people who didn't go to the gym end up paying you, so you get rewarded for working out. The people who didn't go for the gym to the gym are penalized. The people who go to the gym are rewarded. Other people, when they want to change a specific habit, what they do is they go to a website, I'd have to find out the name, and they sign up for it. And at that website, they are asked, um, they are asked, what is your number one, um, what is your number one thing that you hate most? Maybe it's an organization, maybe it's, I don't know, the American Nazi Party. And they say, great, give us $100. Every time you do this behavior that you don't want, we're going to donate $1 to the American Nazi Party in your name. And the idea is that you won't want that so much that it will get you to do the behavior. So this is how people are practically today using the pain or pleasure principle. Other questions?
I have another question asking, how do you handle having too many good projects to choose from?
That's a matter of learning how to focus. Okay. And uh, what about people who could afford this? If they could do bill me later would apply to them. Kind of unfair? No. Well, you know what? You have a good point. So, what I invite you to do is to call Sandra. Her number's on the screen, or email her and set up a payment plan with her. Okay. Um, how do you access the free recording for attending the webinar? It will be emailed to you. It will be emailed to you. Okay. Um, and the last question that I saw is really the best question, and that um, um, is so how do we focus? And the answer is I'm going to, that's what I'm going to teach you. I'm also going to be doing a webinar on focus. Okay. And the free hypnotic session will be emailed to you probably within 24 hours. Um, Someone says, isn't using bill me later procrastinating? And the answer is no, it's just managing your money. Is there any danger with the hypnotic session? No, there's no danger to hypnosis whatsoever unless you listen to it while you're driving. That or like driving or flying a plane. That would not be smart. But there are no dangers associated with hypnosis. Okay. Thanks, Glenna. Thanks all of you guys. I'm really looking forward to the people who came aboard and got in to be one of the 10. And we will be posting a replay in just a couple of days. And I look forward to working with you and creating 10 success people. Everybody, have a terrific, wonderful day.